We need to be growing higher. We definitely need to be going back up there to one or two in the world of manufacturing, especially with what we do actually make. And I can see a lot of potential in what we can do in the UK, especially if the investment's in the right places.
Welcome back to Manufacturers Make Strides. I'm Martin, and today we're talking about how manufacturers can collaborate together, grow their business, and banish that cycle of feast and famine. I'm with Richard Patch, and he's a co-founder of the Manufacturers Hub, and that's a collaborative website for all sizes of manufacturing companies to gain exposure throughout the manufacturing supply chain. And in this episode, Richard shares what he thinks are some of the key things holding back manufacturers from sustained growth, and then some strategies that can break that endless cycle of feast or famine in manufacturing businesses. We'll cover his journey from engineering college through to working in large aerospace companies and small family businesses, and then how that led to him launching and co-founding the Manufacturers Hub. So let's jump straight into that episode now. Good afternoon, Richard. How's it going today?
Very good, thank you. Just got home from obviously the day's job, so this is never stopping. But doing well, thank you.
Brilliant. Were you joining us from today? Whereabouts are you?
I'm Harlow, Essex, so I'm the furthest town down the M11 near the M25. So
brilliant. Is it nice and sunny today?
Lovely today, yeah. Clear blue skies, just like Egypt last week. So clear blue skies.
That's what we like. I want to jump in. We'll get into your background in a second. That's where I like to start off with these interviews, but I just want to jump in with a more straight to the point question. Why do you think collaboration is an important part of manufacturing today?
Basically, well, you need as many kind of collaborations as you can, really, whether you make friends in other businesses or not. It's everyone needs to help each other, really. The more experience and knowledge from other businesses or other people that have already been in your situation, it's great to know people that have been there before or have had those experiences. So collaborating as much as you can, it helps everyone, really. Yes, it makes things so much simpler, whether that's say the past experiences or whether that's trying to get new jobs out. It's always worth kind of working with each other.
Is there a fine line between competition and collaboration, do you think?
In some respects, yes, but in other ways, it's a case of sometimes I think if you're too busy, then you'd rather be trying to help competitors and they can help you back when they're too busy as well. So sometimes there is a fine line, but I think it can be worked. You'd rather be taking the work and having more and passing it across to someone else, and then they could do the same rather than having nothing. So personally, I think collaboration is key, really.
Is the way to go. Okay, great. All right. Well, I will dig into your background a bit first. Then we'll get to what you're doing at the moment, which then the collaboration will make a bit more sense. The collaboration question will make a bit more sense for that. But tell me first off, how you first got interested in engineering and manufacturing, what led you into it?
Basically, first of all, I like I used to like cars, and I still kind of like cars and stuff. So my first actually kind of going into kind of college and things, I actually did motor vehicles. I was going to be like a mechanic, but as soon as I started that, the teachers were like, "No, you're too smart for that. You can't go into motor vehicles. It's just a dirty job. You need to be going into engineering and doing like the clean engineering." So I gave it a year, and then my family's from an engineering background. My granddad was teaching engineers for years, like in a training centre. So most of the places I went after I finished my kind of college, everyone kind of knew me and everyone knew my granddad who taught them before. So it was quite nice. But to go into engineering after that, it was so much nicer. I think it was more varied. It was more interesting. So from like college, I went into in an aerospace company. At the time, they said, the best apprentice goes without interview needed, go straight into this aerospace company local. So at the time, I'd kind of won this award for best apprentice, went straight into this aerospace company, which was just nice. It was a good company, making components, and then I moved into another CNC machining place after that. Got a bit fed up with the traveling, really, every morning, and then I moved into automation, into building automation systems. And it was just so much more varied then. Really enjoy it.
So you won this award when you were at college. You must have been pretty good there then. Was there a moment along, when you were working through that, then you thought, yes, this is a path. I've hit my stride here, and this is the right path for me. What would you say? Where would you say you discovered that?
I think it's just as I went along, like I was doing all the different work experiences and working in different places. So sometimes I'd go and work. I worked in like GSK, doing pharmaceuticals, kind of maintenance roles in there, or moved across to some other places. And I think just the variedness of that, and clean kind of engineering, and um, it was just, I don't know, I just straight away just found I really like this. I really like doing this. Um, very interesting all the time. It was interesting, never boring. Doing design work, or whether it's like looking at pneumatics or machining, or it was just so varied. There's such a big and wide kind of industry to get into. So I straight away thought, obviously, this is what I want to get into after. So yeah, obviously the winning award was good as well. Didn't really expect it too much, but everything I was going along, I was getting distinctions, and I think I even finished the course about 3 months early. So at the time, it wasn't probably that great for my bosses at the time, but I was still kind of going into college and getting signed in, and then kind of just heading off early. Obviously, they thought I was still at college all day, but I'd basically finished 3 months early. So uh,
Well, it should be one of the benefits of being the A-star student, shouldn't it?
oh, exactly, yeah, I think so.
So what would you say those are? So you did that kind of that college role. You went in at kind of shop floor level in manufacturing companies, and you've worked your way up from that kind of level. What would you say those experiences have taught you then about, manufacturing businesses, or maybe like the industry as a whole?
There is room to move. I think as learning from kind of engineering where you are is I think there's more place to kind of move up if you're in kind of pretty larger kind of businesses. Really, as a working for smaller family businesses, you're very limited on where you can go. I have worked my way up, but it's taken time and experience, and you have to prove your experience in each level, constantly improve, like showing your experience. Um, but from where I started, it's mainly about, I think, my passion and attention to detail, and how fussy I've been in my engineering kind of how I'm manufacturing this. Is I'm very fussy, and this has to be right, it has to be exact. It's quite logical kind of thinking all the way through of how things work. So I think that's the way I've kind of traveled my way up through my roles, and I'm always got a passion of looking further. I want the next thing. I don't want to just sit back and be the shop floor person for my whole life. I want to be the more varied, more skilled, more knowledgeable roles, really. So that's kind of the way I look at it. Is for me is the higher I can get, it is more interesting. Is more, you can always go back down the chain, but it's harder to move up. So learning as much as possible from the start is key, I think.
What do you think the difference is then between, working in bigger companies and smaller family businesses? Because I've done a bit of both over my career as well. And I had, like me personally, I had my own kind of preference and opinions to kind of on that. But yeah, I was just wondering what your experience is. What do you think the difference feels like or is like for working through those different types of businesses?
There are similarities. There are quite a few similarities depending on how the company is. If it's a big company with like HR, and they have all um, different things in place to make it a friendly atmosphere, and where you're working, great. But quite a lot of these bigger companies, you're stuck to one role. That's your role, and that's it. Whereas some of these smaller family businesses, you have to get stuck in as much as you can. Sometimes they rely on you for more than your one job. So I find like family businesses, you're more varied in what you do. You have to kind of cross paths in different sectors. So if you're looking, I think, to be more varied and stuff on jobs, and how you kind of getting into the industry, is family businesses is much more varied, I think. Whereas bigger, larger kind of international companies, you're very set on, right, this is your job, that's what you're doing. You can't really move off unless you're looking for a different role in there.
Yeah, if you're in the smaller kind of business, everyone's got to wear lots of different hats, haven't they? And just get on with it. So my experience has been like, I like that type of like role. I get a little bit bored in one place in doing the same thing every day, and people can get a little bit territorial in larger companies and not want you to encroach onto their kind of area. So yeah, it's I found that. So what would you say your biggest turning point in your career has been so far?
What, as working now, or the hub as well, like?
I suppose up to this point now.
in the past, obviously still working Sims engineering and doing the automation is some of the turning points there is I've done some work like abroad and on site, and it's nice. I'm say a supervisor there now. I look after the jobs, I look after the factory on certain jobs going out because of the quality and how I personally have my the finish and the quality of my work. So now I'm a kind of supervisor who kind of show people what to do. But it's nice going on these jobs and coming back and some of the elder kind of colleagues noticing actually like I didn't realize you was like this before. I didn't realize your quality is this good and how you're committed and how kind of each machine and how it works. And until you had this experience and I've come back and they're like, actually, wow, like this guy knows what he's doing. Like they just think because you're 20 years younger, actually, you don't know what you're doing. You haven't got the experience. But that's what I liked about that and getting into my point there is where all these kind of older generation engineers have actually welcome how much knowledge you have of that job in there. But in terms of after that is finding I see I've got a passion now of trying to help as many people as I can. Well, I've had a passion for the whole time, really. I'm always on about trying to help people, but a passion of helping businesses. And after helping the company I work for at the moment, trying to find them new customers and trying to get them seen online, I've still got 30 years left in me. I've still, before I retire, I've got another 30 years. So I like the day job. I really like what I was doing. So I was trying to get them to be seen and get as much work as I can through them because of the more work they get, the longer they can go for, the more I've still got another 30 years of doing what I love. So that's kind of my kind of passion in the industry and yeah, and the position and yeah, if that makes sense, it kind of covers your question.
That's great. Yeah. So I'd love to hear the foundation story. So you've started Manufacturers Hub, as well. You kind of intimated a little bit of the kind of origin story of it there, that you were doing some work in finding customers. So yeah, so tell me how that started out.
So it kind of started out as I was doing a lot of LinkedIn for this company I work in the daytime. I was doing a lot of LinkedIn work for them. I was doing a lot of work online. I was seeing I'm constantly like looking at competitors and seeing the factories they're in and how they're getting in there. It's like, well, I want my day job. I want Sims to be in there. Really, I want them to be in as many places as possible. So I was trying to look at how I can connect with these customers or potential customers, and I was looking at more. So they're like automotive based. So they might do a lot of automation in the automotive industry. And I was counting up how many kind of factories they were in and how many actually there were in the UK and working out, right, you're a specialist in the area, but actually you're only in 10% of the factories I found in the UK. So how can I get them in more places? So I built this database of potential customers. And then it kind of grew after that is because of the shortages of parts during pandemic and everything like that and microchips and that, I built them then a database of suppliers of where they can find alternative suppliers. So then suddenly I put these two databases together of customers, suppliers. I thought, actually, why can't everyone have this database of kind of customers or manufacturers and then suppliers, and why can't everyone use a database like this? So obviously it's turned from, this is not really their database, it's a database of every manufacturing company or every kind of supplier. So that's where it started, of actually how can I help more companies find potential kind of customers or suppliers or clients.
So what was that the spark then that made you think that this is something that everyone could have or should have?
Yeah, obviously we're looking online after that, and I'm looking at organisations and associations and the costs to be part of them. And the company I work for, they didn't have a marketing budget at all. They didn't want to spend anything online. Whereas obviously I was still trying to grow whatever I could online, obviously looking for my future. So I was looking online and finding actually where can I get them advertised without spending anything, because if they're not going to spend it, I'm not going to spend it out of my own pocket. I'd already kind of bought them stuff out of my own pocket, but their own advertising then is I'm not plowing loads into this. It's unaffordable for me. So I thought, why can't we make this platform affordable? Why can't we make some kind of affordable platform? How can we do it? Obviously I went to my business partner Kevin and said to him, like, how can we build this platform? I've got this idea, how can we do it? And then we had to kind of work out a structure and plans and pricing and how we could do it. But it's kind of like the only platform out there that's kind of for the whole industry. It's completely open, nothing's behind closed doors. some other organisations, everything's behind a closed door. You have to be a paying member, and you can only see members behind that door. Whereas we wanted it completely open. Why can't we find anyone as easy as possible?
You mentioned that you were doing a lot of work on kind of LinkedIn on promotions and kind of background research. And no, well, related to that, you were saying that the company you were with at the time were kind of really reluctant to spend anything on kind of internet marketing or put in any effort towards that. Well, like, why do you think that is? Is that just a big question that people have that, like, I don't know if it works. Maybe it does work, or maybe it doesn't, or just I wouldn't have a clue of how to go about doing that. What do you think the reluctances?
I think some of it is more. I'm seeing more and more these days as well. Is of companies in the same boat. It's that they had enough work. They thought they had enough work, so everything was all reliant on word of mouth for repeat customers all the time. But they're always getting. You could always see these peaks and troughs in the work, and it's because they're always waiting for the next project to come through from word of mouth, or the engineer that's now moved company and suddenly got the new company to start building machines. Whereas I'm looking for, actually, we want as much as we can constantly. If we wish to be turning away work, there shouldn't be all these peaks and troughs of up and downs of, we're seeing, say, a quiet factory or a really busy factory, or unlimited overtime to then no overtime. So why can't this be a stable throughout the whole year thing? So that's kind of where I saw, I'll say, a lot of companies, even now looking at it, they're still doing the same thing. Is actually, I've got too much work. I'm not interested in advertising online, and then suddenly they're completely out of work, or all their work's in one basket kind of thing, and then suddenly they're quiet. Or I need to advertise now. I need to advertise rather than a constant kind of like progressive advertising.
Yeah, you need that constant trickle into your funnel, because, like you said, yeah, if you wait until those quiet times, you've then got a potential lag and lead time, haven't you, before that like initiative kicks through, which could be like 1, 2, 3 months. So yeah, you need that to kind of fall back on when the moment you need it, really. What's been the hardest part then of trying to bring manufacturers together and get into this stage with the Manufacturers Hub?
I think it's gaining trust. It's gaining trust. It's gaining kind of momentum. When me and Kev first started, and we're sending emails out to hundreds of businesses, and we're like, actually, right, this is going to work. It's going to take off. We've sent 400 emails out in the first week. Right, this is going to work. Everyone's going to come back to us. But actually, nothing come back. So it's a lot more pushing, and it's a lot, you can't just email, no one reads them, or they don't trust you, they think you're spam. It's right at the start, we thought it was just going to snowball straight up, but actually building the trust, building the platform has been a lot slower and gradual. So the amount of messages we've actually sent compared to actually how many people have joined, and it's such a low percentage of how many people have joined compared to how many have messaged. But I think it's a trust thing, and it's always across the board, really, of people want to trust you first, know your face behind what you're doing, and actually understand the whole reason why you're doing it, rather than just say, right, I'm going to join this. Even if it's free, they might think, oh, they're going to try and sell information, or obviously that's what it's not about. It's not about that at all. But it's gaining that trust and actually understanding this is something that's going to take time to build. It's just not going to do overnight, suddenly thousands of people, thousands of businesses.
How would you think your experience kind of working in manufacturing then and from the inside out has kind of helped you when it comes to building the platform to bring people together?
It's more because we're not marketing, we're not sales. Both of us aren't kind of that base. We're both obviously manufacturing engineers, and we kind of know how these businesses can connect. So if I'm a, say, a precision engineering company, what suppliers do I need? Right, I need oil, I need cutting tools, I need machinery. So we know what industries need what kind of suppliers and what manufacturers. And if we're coming from an automation background, we know that actually, right, some of these machines are made of box section. We need powder coaters. We need to go to suppliers of sensors. We know the industry. That's why it's built up better our ways, because we know actually the industry and how it works, rather than just two salespersons that don't know really much about the industry at all to connect the right people. So having the knowledge behind who should be connecting with who, or how they can connect, is definitely helped.
Oh, that sounds good. Have you got an example or a story of how something's worked out then?
So we've got quite a few businesses already had work from the platform. It's connecting with. It's not exactly down the line of how obviously the knowledge there, but obviously where we're advertising with purposely added the right people, have invited them to our page. So every time we're posting about these businesses, you've got decision makers from across the industry following our page as well. So we've actually had quite a few people come back to us and say, right, you've posted about us on your LinkedIn page, but this person within a week has then messaged me about having work. So the amount of times we've had people message back and say, like, even just with you posting on LinkedIn, we've had work from it. And this is because we know and we're connecting as many, say, suppliers, customers, metals, like the industry together and getting them to follow the page. So every time that we're posting about it, they've got the right people seeing it. That's kind of the closest I can probably say to having the right people following and engaging.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Yeah, if you like, if you're saying people are getting interested in within a week or so of that business being out there, like that's pretty direct, isn't it? That's kind of immediate feedback. So that sounds brilliant.
We do obviously know more of the industry, and we can mess like what we're trying not to do so much is because of the fees and how much obviously we are charging is we can't go and put personal messages out to every single business saying, right, I think you should connect to this one, you should connect to this one. So a lot of it we do in posts, a lot of it we do send messages about and try and connect some people, but we are very limited. We can't message thousands of people and say, I reckon you should work with this company, because obviously we've not got the time for that. And I would love to, but yeah, it's time, and I still work full time, and Kevin still works full time, and this is hopefully maybe in the future we'll be able to do that more.
So if you're enjoying this episode, please give us a follow on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. That would help us to keep bringing authentic manufacturing conversations with the people who are shaping our industry. Thank you. So we're going to move into a section that we do called Myths and Truths. So I'm going to say a statement. It may be a crazy sounding statement. It may be a sensible one, but I would just like your opinion if it's a myth or truth and maybe a bit of an explanation behind it. So first one then. So LinkedIn is just really for people looking to log in on and looking for a new job to move to.
No, that's a myth. I think that's a myth. A lot of people use it as marketing. So it's marketing your business, it's connecting with the right people. So it's not just to look for new jobs, it's brand awareness, it's messaging the right people, it's adding the right people to connect with. That's what it's about, connecting, linking people.
So you think it's a valuable place and there's people out there on there who are decision makers basically and open to receiving the messages?
100%, yeah. I mean, you can use it for looking for jobs. You could be, if you're someone on the shop floor and you want to go to another new business, you can use it for that. If the right person connects and adds you and you send a message and get it, or you message your recruitment agency, you can use it for that. But solely, it's not just for looking for jobs. It's brand awareness. It's trying to get your business out there and yourself out there. It's a much bigger platform than just looking for new jobs.
Britain no longer makes anything of value.
This one, it drives me up the wall, really, is the amount of times that people say we make nothing. I'm quite passionate of we make so much and we need to shout about it more. And value depends on what you're looking for, really, doesn't it? It's value can be anything. We make very nice vehicles in the UK with let's say your Bentley and some of your high kind of brands. You've got your smaller brands, or Nissans and Toyotas, and obviously we've lost a few as well with Honda and that. But even with pharmaceuticals, we've got. It depends where your value is actually at. If your value is in looking for pharmaceuticals or vehicles, or we make so much. There's over 100,000 manufacturers in the UK, so we make a lot, and it's all within the value of the right person.
Why do you think that perception's out there? Because I've that comments come at me to people who, like family members, friends who aren't in the industry, and they genuinely completely believe that.
I think the biggest stories are they take the news the most, isn't it? All they're seeing is what the media want to show about the industry. Is this company, this factory's just shut down, we've lost X amount of jobs and X amount of millions out the industry, and that's all they want to post and do their news articles about, because they're the biggest stories that get the most attention, rather than actually this factory's just invested 20 million in this and 200 million in this, and there's so much more is still being invested into the industry. But I think it's all down to publicity, and they bring up a lot more attention than the good stories.
All right, I'm going to switch tacks a little bit. Still on the myths and truths, but just coming back to something you said before. So you're doing this and running a full-time job as well. So you can't, it's difficult to balance having a full-time career while also building something on the side as well.
Yeah, it's a very, you have to balance a lot of time. Obviously, I've got kids as well, and I still try and keep active in the gym and everything like that. So yeah, trying to balance everything is quite hard. Working full-time job, 40 plus hours in the daytime, and then trying to do this every evening as well. It's non-stop. It's just a fine balance. I think I do more when I don't have my kids. I have them every other day, every other weekend. So every other day I do a little bit more, or the days with the kids, I still do a few hours. So it's just a fine balance, but it works. It does work. And it's a lot of spinning plates. It can be quite challenging sometimes.
Yeah. Well, you've got to have a clear vision of what you want to build, haven't you? And if that can be inspiring to you to focus on it and put in the effort, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't get nothing free sometimes in life, do you? You got to put the effort in. So it's worth. You don't know until you try. So starting this platform, we don't know until you try. So you've got to give it a good go and put as much as you can in it, and no one else can do it for you. So if you want to make something of it, you've got to do the work yourself.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last one on this section, then, kind of slightly related to that one. Young people today, they don't want to work in manufacturing.
A lot of them, I think, these days is they want short-term gains. Really, it's influencers or YouTube influencers. It's all easy work. They're constantly. Everyone wants to go on holiday, and like a lot of them just want to be, let's say, influencers for holidays or going abroad or something like that. I think they looking too quick at I want this rather than actually let's build a career first. You could always build something on the side. You can be an influencer on the side, but you should be getting into a proper career, something to fall back on as well if that doesn't work. So it's an interesting career, especially manufacturing. It's very interesting.
So you could be telling your kids, if they come to you and say they want to be an influencer, get yourself a proper job.
I'll say get yourself a proper job first, and you can do that on the side. And if it works, yeah, you can drop your daytime job. But yeah, get yourself a career first, and make sure you've got something in the background you can fall back on.
So do you think manufacturing's a good career to go into these days?
I think so. It's forever growing, especially with, I'm in automation, so I'm in manufacturing automation, and the future and profitability of making things more affordable, and obviously competing against other countries, China, etc., etc. There's always going to be automation, and automation is always going to be growing. So for me, manufacturing and the automation side of it is constantly going to be growing. It's going to be probably 100-fold on now with robotics and AI and the software and things like that. It's a great industry to get in, and it's going to be forever growing.
There's going to be some big challenges, isn't it? Yeah, and it's if you're, I think it comes back to what you were saying before. If you've got that, it's if you're a good fit for it, I suppose. If you're the type of person and personality who like solving the challenges, can combine the technical stuff with the, there's a big mix of things going on in there, isn't it? So if that's a good fit for you, there's
some of these things you see from being a kid or something like that is like I used to like playing with Lego or Meccano or whatever it is. So then building these things is to the assembly of mechanical assembly or engineering is kind of like that as being a kid. It's putting things together and making sure they work, and yeah, it can be interesting. Sometimes it's just like I say, like playing Lego or Meccano. It's like a game, really. It's interesting game as a job. I'm getting paid for it.
Okay, so if look into the future, then what's your biggest hope for the manufacturing industry, either in the UK or generally?
Well, I think we need to be growing higher. We definitely need to be going back up there to 1 or 2 in the world of manufacturing, especially with what we do actually make. And I can see a lot of potential in what we can do in the UK, especially if the investment's in the right places. I've put many posts out on LinkedIn about how the government can be invested in certain parts of the industry and making sure our own manufacturers are gaining from it, putting public spending back in there. So I think the UK has got a lot of potential if we get the right investment in the right places and the right guidance and grants in the right places. I think it's definitely one that the UK can be expanded on and growing 100%.
So what do you think the manufacturers hub can kind of play in that future then, and how can that help, do you think?
So obviously how the hub works in the first place is not allowing businesses to be seen online without having to put a lot of money into their SEO or their website. So a lot of people you may see straight away searching on search engines, and you're looking for a company and you've got 10 people on the first page, and it's whoever spent the most on their websites or the most time in their websites, rather than actually they might not be the best manufacturer for you. You might have these smaller businesses that don't believe in putting a lot of money into their marketing or online business, but actually they could be perfect manufacturers. So obviously the hub brings everyone together in one place. So you don't have to rely on the SEO or the website. You can use our filters and find a business, whether they've got certain accreditations or they're in a certain area, or that's how the hub kind of works. Is um, making sure these businesses are seen without having to spend the money, and as well as obviously we try and post about these businesses on our LinkedIn as well. So actually we're putting your face in front of a lot more people. So the hub itself is, we want it to keep growing. We want it to be this place completely open, easy to find businesses, and that's what it's about. It's not relying on how much money you've spent on search engines or your website or with other organisations that are take thousands of pounds a year just to be seen online. So solely to be seen online is allowing businesses to connect easier.
So who's your perfect type of business then? Who would come to the manufacturers hub, and like what do you think like your best kind of case customer? What are they getting out of it?
So we've got a range. Obviously, we have anyone manufacturing on or suppliers on the hub, whether they're international robotic companies are on there or whether they're smaller kind of SMEs. The majority of them will be SMEs, small businesses, because that's where 90% of the businesses are in the UK. They're all smaller businesses. But say some of these, we've had quite a few little companies. One of them was a software company, and he joined, and within 2 weeks he'd sold 20 grand worth of software. So for him to pay our £50 premium membership, and then a couple of weeks later, someone found him through our hub and he sold 20 grand worth of software, that's a no-brainer. It's cost him nothing, basically, to make those sales. Same as other small businesses. That there's one that makes CNC sliding doors, like a cylinder that goes on top of the doors to help CNC machine doors to open. And within a few weeks, he had a message back from a customer saying they're rolling this out on all their machines. So for him to join and they get posted on our LinkedIn and have all the filters on our site, say for £50 to suddenly get thousands of pounds worth of orders, or that's ideal really for us. So ideally, like I say, it's small cost SMEs get seen on there without having to spend a lot, obviously, on their online marketing or website.
So what would you say, when was there a moment where you felt that this was just really starting to work or start to come together?
So there was one point right at the start, or very, very early in, when we had an engineering company, precision engineering company, message and say that he's got a marketing team that runs his site for him. And he straight away said that we've had a message back from our marketing team that said we've got a 50% uplift in our internet traffic just coming from your site. So early on, it was like, wow, like this is working. Like he's already getting so many more clicks to his own website. Obviously, these are driving the leads. So it's every time someone comes back to me and says they've had a lead, they've had more internet traffic, or they've had a sale, or they've been contacted because they've been seen through our site, is what kind of drives me to carry on going, or what drives the site for me and Kevin. So it kind of makes it exciting, really, knowing that it's working and it's costing these businesses basically nothing to get this work.
Is there anything beyond connecting suppliers and services that around the community you want to build around the hub?
So we are obviously trying to put the shops and stuff on there so businesses don't have to pay a lot for e-commerce shops. We're putting a shop on there as well, and obviously we're getting the traffic, and then they can have their products seen as well. So they go on there. We're looking at trying to be more cost effective on subcontract machining. So there's other subcontract sites out there, and these businesses are paying £400 or £500 a month to be part of these sites. So that's regardless if they get any work or not. So through the year, they could be paying £5,000-6,000 a year and getting nothing for it. So obviously we're putting that on there as well. So we've got it on there. But as it builds up, we'd take a small cut if they win the work. So they're not paying £400 a month for nothing. They'll only be paying a small cut if they win something. So it's another one where it's cost effective. In the future, we're looking at probably some meets as well. We're going to do some quarterly meets. Obviously, it's trying to balance our time at the moment. So every time we try and do a meet, it's either like a Friday afternoon, or we take annual leave from our day jobs to try and do a meet. So we want to try and do quarterly meets at the moment to try and get these manufacturers and suppliers all connecting with each other as well. So
sounds really good. It sounds like you've got a great vision that's kind of pushing you forward with it. I'm really, really kind of interested to have a chat about this and find out about it. Just kind of a quick question then before we start to wrap up. What would you say one quick action? Well, there's possibly like a super obvious question to this, but so maybe two answers. What's one quick action a manufacturer could do this week to support the wider manufacturing industry?
If they're shipping out to abroad, I'd say that's one for me. Is if they're shipping out to abroad, is try and find companies over here that can do something for a similar price, or try and work out your price difference. And even if you pay a little bit more to get it locally, you're supporting the industry, you're supporting another supplier, whether they're local or across the country or something like that. But that's what I try to do for the future is try and see if you can source something from the UK, because we have so many manufacturers over here. You may have not have just heard about them. Is try and find one that is over here, and if they are kind of a similar price point, or why aren't they? Do you have to buy 10 rather than one, or can you stock more items but have it locally made?
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. That was going to be my follow-up question to that then, so say like maybe I'm thinking about slightly larger manufacturing companies would, as maybe a purchasing department in there as well, as the sales and the technical, what do you think, how do you think people can build that business case to say, to use the technical, to use a local supplier, and keep the skills locally, when there is that cost, when there is that maybe like on the face of it a cost difference in there for what like a purchasing department says is something equivalent, may not be in reality, but how do you think that business case can be built and supported?
I think a lot of it is built on actually finding the right businesses, because a lot of them can't be found online, and this is obviously why we built the hub. Straight away you might have companies that are paying to be sponsored at the top that are actually from abroad, or right, we go for that one. All people I think look for is the easiest option, rather than actually like, it might take me another 15 minutes to find another company, but that's the point, is actually I can find someone closer. I can find someone actually, or even if the closer ones, the UK ones, they might have better quality. It depends what you're looking for, whether it's price or quality or time. They might be able to deliver it in a week. They might be able to hand deliver it to you within the next day. I know suppliers that, rather than shipping across the country, sometimes he's driven an hour and actually given the same, let's say, CNC cutting tools to this person within an hour, is just driven straight there rather than ordering. So sometimes you get a better personal touch and or quality, or by the local businesses.
Yeah, so you think there's a lot of situations where, a company's out there looking for something to a supplier. They've got the, requirement to get quotes from 3-5 companies, suppliers. You think the situations are where they just can't find, they're not finding that easily enough, that three, those businesses.
I think so, yeah. It depends on certain aspects, especially, you'll say, online. And as an example of the amount of businesses we're working with that haven't necessarily got their websites up to scratch, and they're just say they're machining companies and they do a lot of aerospace work, but actually their website doesn't say anything about they've got this accreditation for the aerospace work, or their SEO or their website isn't built around like promoting they do aerospace work or marine work. So they'd never actually be seen online that they do it. So how is the right purchasing team going to find that business? So this is what they need to be kind of looking at, really, is one, small businesses need to be promoting themselves more of actually, right, that's what I do, and how can I get my name out there? But I think maybe these purchasers need to make more of an active kind of be calling around businesses and saying, do you do this? Can you do this? I want to try and use more local, rather than actually, look, I'm just going to stick with straight abroad because I know their website says that they do that. So we just need to be a bit more proactive on finding local companies that can do what we need.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Great. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a complex kind of situation, isn't it? And there's a lot of aspects to it. But yeah, what you're doing here sounds, really progressive and really kind of innovative in this area. So yeah, sounds brilliant. Sounds brilliant. What's the best way for people to find out more about the Manufacturers Hub then?
Well, we're very active, obviously, on LinkedIn. I post 4 or 5 times a day on there, where it's about other businesses, so you can see us pop up all the time. We have got other strategic partners, where some people might be part of Connex Group. We're a strategic partner of Connex. We work with other automation kind of businesses. We work with Engineers Insight. We're trying to be around different places we can. We're also on different podcasts, obviously, like yourselves. We're getting our name out there as much as we can. See our website, manufacturershub.co.uk. Obviously, we chose the website because of manufacturers. Obviously, it's a hub as well, so it's all in one place. Manufacturers should come straight into the SEO as soon as someone types on Google manufacturers. So we're trying to get in as many places as we can. So we're at the top of top of search engines for many searches. So hopefully we're in the right places, all to be seen. But yeah, find us our website, manufacturershub.co.uk. You find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on YouTube.
Great. And so if you're an SME, you go to your website, you sign up for a profile, and then you get listed under your category with the kind of things you do. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so we've got there's a free membership on there because ideally I wanted the platform to be completely free. But obviously, we've got to make some money somehow, and whether it's in advertising or whether it's in memberships, things may change in the future. But there's a free account. You can get your name in there in the right category, your business logo and your website and the location, phone number. That's all completely free. We have a premium membership, which is, I say, it's £50 per year. You get a full business profile, which is basically like a mini website. So you could kind of combine just say 20 pages of your website all in one. You can have images, links back to your website, YouTube videos, about us section, information about your business. And then we use kind of keywords so we can filter to what you do. So that's whether it's machining or whether it's automation systems or whether it's supplying certain things. All our keywords work in filters to be able to then use our filters to find you easier. So yeah, it's all about building the profile. And then so for that membership, we also share about them on our LinkedIn. So as much as we can do to kind of share them out there as we can, really.
One final question that I was just thinking of there then. If companies are on the manufacturer's hub, and putting themselves out there, or they're doing you're redoing their post, on LinkedIn. What type of post, what type of content should they be putting out there? Should it be, the brochure of the type of things they do? Should it be a snapshot that someone's made of one of the lads, working in the factory? What type of things do you think captures people's attention in terms of that marketing type of stuff?
It's keeping things varied. If you're the same all the time, then people kind of will say, not necessarily see it, kind of get bored of it. So I think it's a balance of everything. You could have a picture of your apprentice or what he's just made. You could have the picture of your machine and say what kind of capabilities you've got, like your whole workshop picture. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. But keeping it varied. But also obviously every time is explaining exactly what you can do. I think it's the capabilities you have, and that's why we post about constantly. Is we bullet point everything they can do. So as soon as someone sees a post, it's a case of right, this is what they can do. This is where they're based. Different pictures every single time, but we want it quick and easy. Right, this is what you can do. So I think for businesses, they need to be posting similar things as well. Is that this is what we can make. This is where we're based. This is how fast we can deliver it. Give us a call, get a quote. We can match prices, anything like that. Come back to us and ask for delivery times, anything like that. Is anyone wants to make it as easy as possible to know what they do really and how they can provide their service.
Okay, all right. So no fluff, straight in there with the bullet points. Bum. This is what we do.
Yeah, the thing obviously these days as well is what's it, a 411? It's not like that. It's like you put 4 business posts up and you put like 1 personal and 1 kind of intuitional about kind of giving information, and that's the best way apparently to post on LinkedIn anyway, to get the most attention. But say for us, it's all about kind of posting businesses really. On our page anyway. So it's just bullet pointing and what they do exactly. So it's just easy as possible.
Sounds good. You're giving a nice kind of outline, nice plan there. It makes sense. Sounds really good. Thank you for that. Well, yeah, really appreciate your time today. It was really interesting to hear about that. Manufacturers Hub sounds great. Hope it's a great success. Hope it helps a lot of of SME and manufacturing companies around the industry, because that having that steady kind of flow of sales, it just helps everyone, doesn't it? It helps more people come into the industry, more businesses do better. It helps everyone. So thank you for your time, Richard.